Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap podcast, and we are here to review those beers.
The listeners know that we're here.
And we're reviewing beers.
We should put out an episode that's just blank noise, and they'll know that, oh no, they're not here this time. And then next
they're not reviewing beers.
And then next time they'll go, oh, finally they're here. Oh, we dodged a bullet there.
Dodged a bullet. I think we saved them the effort of having to download the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm really excited about this episode because we've got...
Me too, because you brought two rare beers for me, and I didn't have to do anything.
Well, no change there. So before we had the Orpus 5th anniversary beer that we reviewed, and I found this 5th anniversary Quadruple IPA. And if you go through and you look at the Orpus beers, I think there's 5 different beers for the 5th anniversary release. And one is a quadruple beer that they've released. I think it's a quadruple Belgian ale.
Fair enough.
So I was in the mood thinking 5th anniversary, I was thinking quadruple. And so when I saw Polly's quadruple IPA 5th anniversary, the words just clicked. 5 years, quadruple, say no more, say no more. How's your mother? This is the beer we want to try.
So you thought you bought an Orpus beer, but you did buy a Polly's beer.
It is Polly's Birthday Quadruple IPA, mosaic, brewed in Mold, North Wales. Wow, one of the most unfortunate names for a town to ever exist, Mold. This is a 13.2% Quadruple IPA.
Nice. It's actually amazing that we've never had a Polly's beer on the podcast.
It's true, because Polly's is quite readily available in the area, and they do really good stuff. So I'm really surprised we haven't had them.
Nowadays, they're more difficult to find at the Swedish pubs. Mm-hmm. At one point, they were everywhere.
They really, really were.
But then they were called Luca Polly. That was the old name. But I don't know why they changed it. The rumor in Sweden was that they got into a legal battle with the Swedish water bottle company called Luca. Like you have the same name as us. Stop.
That's weird.
Yeah, but then they did change to just Polly's. The beer itself is super hazy, orange.
Yeah, it's got a
light
really
brown.
strong mosaic hoppy nose to it. It smells amazing.
Dank.
I mean, it smells really dank, very very well hopped. Yeah. Kind of beer. So I'm like off the top, I would not think. What was it? 13%?
13.2.
Fuck. All right. I'm sorry. When I read that, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be tough.
Let's get cronked.
Pretty much. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
There's a lot of sweetness on the front end. They must have sugared the hell out of this beer because there is so much sugar.
Wow.
It is almost diabetes level of sugar.
That is one of the sweetest IPAs I've had in a long time.
That is sugar water. It is so sweet.
I mean, sometimes when you get beers that are this sweet, they didn't ferment fully. Like there's residual sugar from the brewing process.
This feels like they just dumped in like a bag of sugar of white sugar into the mix.
But that makes no sense because then it would have become a bomb.
Right. So this is water, malted barley, oats, wheat, hops, yeast, and that's it. That's all it says. But wow, this is like, okay.
But
first of all,
it's not malty; it's sugary.
It's not 13.2% ABV as well. You do not get the strong ABV on this.
It doesn't taste like 13%.
Right, because we've had some pretty high ABV, IPAs before, and they really come across as usually incredibly unbalanced, just like weird.
I mean, this
crimes against beer kind of beers.
this is pretty unbalanced due to the.
This is.
Yeah, I'm surprised at this. I don't
I will
understand.
say, wow, the aftertaste is so much sugar. It just tastes like sugar water. It's really, really weird. I was like, oh well, on second taste, it's very. I mean, the mouthfeel is really nice. It's very rounded. It's very full. You get a lot of the mosaic hop notes in there, but then the aftertaste is just so cloyingly sugary that you would think they put honey in this beer or something to make it extra sugary. It's the kind of beer you drink and you think this is going to give me a horrible headache tomorrow.
Yeah, the description, first it's a lot of blah, 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 featuring an insane 28 gram per liter dry hopping rate of Mosaic and Idaho 7. The flavor profile on this beer is all about candy sweetness.
They are not wrong.
They're not wrong. Expect pineapple squares, bubble gum, sticky marmalade, and mango. I mean, yes, bubblegum, sticky marmalade, and candy sweetness, but why would you put all of that sweetness in an IPA? Put it in a stout instead.
Or just dial it back a little bit. I think the problem with this beer is I don't think it's poorly made. I just think that it's so over the top that it becomes almost undrinkable.
Yeah, I think I need to. I can't give a rating now. I think I need to revisit this after we've had our second beer.
Okay, well, we'll hold off on reviewing this.
Right?
I agree. I agree. It needs to.
I don't think that air will help it any. I think the next beer will help me separate what.
I think the nose on it is a bit better because when you said the Idaho 7 part, that starts to pop a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. So Kihoskh is teamed up. So Kihoskh, if you've never been to Copenhagen, Kihoskh is the best.
It is the go-to.
It is not just the go-to. It is
bottle
the.
shop.
I mean, hands down, the best bottle shop in Copenhagen. I mean, they're so when you go to, I think we probably described it before on future episodes. When you go to Kihoskh, you walk in and it looks like just a kiosk. Like you pick up your chips, you pick up some snacks. There's a refrig section that's actually pretty well stocked, but you have to go downstairs into the basement.
Where you're not allowed to bring your backpack there. You have to leave the backpack up in the store.
Yeah, because it's very easy to pocket, and they've got cameras all over the ceiling as well. And then when you get downstairs and you get into like the cellar part, there it's a beer wonderland of meads and sours and stouts, pilsners, IPAs, sour beers, just anything you can think of. They've really got a style for you, and they've got some amazing beers down there. And so they've teamed up with Evil Twin New York twice. I don't remember what the first beer was called, but this one is called Even More Kishoskh. So it's 11%. It's an imperial stout with hazelnut coffee and hazelnut coffee. Collaboration with Kihoskh. And you know how much I love hazelnut beers, so I'm sure to love this.
Okay, so the first one was called This Kihoskh Needs a Bigger Beer Selection.
And it was a sour beer, right?
Sour fruited. The second one was This Kihoskh Needs a Much Bigger Beer Selection, also sour fruited. And now we're at Even More Kishoskh.
Okay. And we've both tried one of the ones before.
I've only tried Needs a Bigger Beer Selection.
Yeah, I think I've tried that one as well.
I haven't tried a much bigger. And you haven't either.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, so...
did you read the ingredients?
Yeah, it was hazelnut and coffee.
Yeah.
Basically. Yep, and it's a lot of coffee on the nose.
I agree, and roasted malts.
Yeah, it's a very, very heavily coffee stout. And it comes in at 11%. Yeah,
Cheers.
Cheers. Wow, that's surprisingly good. I mean, for hazelnut and hazelnut coffee, the hazelnut's really well balanced in this.
It is. It's kind of thinner than I expected.
Yeah.
But I agree that the coffee and the hazelnuts, they don't really take over.
No, I think this is it's a really good basic coffee stout. I mean, I feel like it's a great base beer, kind of, with coffee, and then the aftertaste is very lightly roasted hazelnut. One of the problems I have with the hazelnut beers is usually the hazelnut flavor just overwhelms the beer and just kills everything in it.
Yep.
This is just a really subtle background flavor that just complements the richness of the roast and the coffee notes on it. This is really good.
I'm looking now at the back of the can, and I'm happily surprised to see the small circular stickers of the import firm Drikkeriget, or Drinking Realm.
Yeah.
They've been around for so long. European beer nerds who order online will recognize Drikkbeer, that is completely fueled by Drikkeriget, the import firm. They've been around for a long time, like before 2010. And apparently they're still going strong. I think when Evil Twin started their Evil Twin New York, that opened up like a natural funnel from which to send beers from the US to Copenhagen. So a lot of the European web shops now, they get their beers from Drikkeriget in Copenhagen.
Wow, I did not realize that. 'Cause I just thought that Drikkeriget was the Evil Twin importing process. Right.
It is.
Yeah.
But they import so much other stuff, like other American hyped stuff.
Okay. This is really good, man.
I enjoy it.
I'm a little surprised at how much I like this, because hazelnut beers are one of my least favorite style of beers. And like I said, mostly because the hazelnut just overwhelms everything. But wow, this is so balanced. It's so light. It's so...
I would want it
drinkable.
A little heavier.
I can understand that, but it comes across as more of a almost a milk stout.
There's a lot of milk stout going on here.
I am going to give this a 4.25.
That's really nice.
That's super high for me.
I thought you were going higher, because I was like, I'm going to give it so way lower with a 4.25 or even a strong 4. I'm somewhere between a strong 4 and a 4.25.
Well, I think, like you said, if it was if the viscosity was a little thicker,
then it would be 4.25 or even 4.5.
It would be probably a 4.5 for me.
Yeah.
But it is a little milk stouty kind of thinness on that edge, which I don't mind. I think it works really well for this beer. But I think, I think that's where I'm pretty comfortable at.
I'm mostly curious what it'll now do to my palate when I go back to the Polis.
Let's go back to the
5 years.
Then.
It smells more Idaho 7 and rotten garbage.
The initial, the initial flavor is actually not bad. It's the aftertaste that is so cloyingly sweet, overwhelming, that it's kind of undrinkable for me.
I mean, you can recreate this beer by taking any modern American double IPA and just dumping spoonfuls of white sugar straight into the beer.
Yeah. Just take your standard double IPA, especially something with Idaho 7 in it, and then just add a ton of simple syrup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just keep adding syrup or sugar until the beer no longer tastes the way you want, and you've reached this beer.
Yeah, this is... I mean, parts of it I enjoy, but there's so much I hate about it. I've got to give this maybe a 1.25 or a 2.
Yeah. I mean, I am there with you. It doesn't work. It feels like it's defective. It feels like they want. It might in my mind. This might not even be 13 point whatever percent. That might be calculation. What would happen if the fermentable sugars were fermented by the yeast, but it just wasn't. The sugar is still in the beer. The yeast died along the process.
Yeah.
Making this like 7-8% with a lot of unfermented sugars remaining.
There's so much unfermented sugars in this, and that's what's killing it for me, because there is a lot of flavors in it that are quite nice, but then that unfermented sugar just comes in and just bludgeons you, and woof, man, that it's just so unforgiving.
Yeah.
In that area.
And there's really no beer style that's supposed to taste like this.
No.
Because beer is meant to be fermented. The yeast is supposed to eat the sugars and ferment them into alcohol. And there might be slight hints of residual sugar that will then become carbonation in the can or the bottle. But nothing like this.
Yeah, I feel like if there was further carbonation in the can, this can would explode upon. This would be a hand grenade in a can, basically.
If there's still yeast, if there's still active yeast with this much sugar to gobble up, the rest of these cans will explode.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's the case here.
No.
So what would you give this?
1.5.
Good. I'm glad that I'm not alone in this.
You're not crazy.
Good. Because like the base smell and the flavor is there. Solid. No problem with that. And then you drink it, and then it just becomes just the most overwhelming sugar water that I've had in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'll give it a 1.75. And I feel like I'm being generous there. And I really feel bad for giving it that, because I know how good Polly's is, and I know like how good the intention is here, but they just really missed the mark on every level.
Yeah. Wow.
Woof.
I will continue drinking the Even More Kishoskh.
I will too. It's
I
delicious.
might not finish the Polly's.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to finish the Polly's, but the Kihoskh I will definitely drink. So you can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever there are podcasts in the world, you'll find us there, lurking in the dark recesses of the podcast world.
If you take some other famous podcasts and you play them backwards, you'll hear us.
Yes, that's where we mostly are in the backwards masking of
this
other podcasts.
Is What's on Tap podcast.
Yes, and if you backwards mask every David Lynch film, you'll find a secret What's on Tap podcast there.
There's a lot of Easter eggs.
Yes.
Right.
Actually, if you play all of the backward masking moments in a David Lynch film forward, then they actually are What's on Tap podcast.
Wow.
That's how subtle we are.
Amazing.
Yes. So until next time.
Keep drinking, you dum-dums.